There we go. Took a
Hello,
second
everybody,
again.
and welcome to the Info Pit. I'm here with my co-host, Absolute.
And I'm Absolute. I am a full-time student by day and streamer by night.
And I'm your host, Fluffy XC. I'm a full-time tech engineering student and first commander of DI3 for everyone that's in DI. I have stream on in the background, and it's killing me.
Yeah, you should probably turn that off.
I can
Big
hear
brain.
myself, and it's not good. Yeah. So you're gonna hit us. You're gonna intro us with some stories, right?
Yep, we got a couple of stories here to start off things. Go ahead and poke these in chat real quick.
Yes.
And I lost chat.
For reference,
Man,
these are
it's going
stories
great
that
so far.
I'm not allowed to look at beforehand because we call this the stupid story segment. And yeah.
I'm having 1 second.
It's
There seems to be an issue on my Twitch side.
Good job.
And we just got a link from one of our producers to change the background because they don't like the background. And they got it to us.
That's
so, Fluffy, explain to our a little bit why we're fixing this issue.
While we're fixing the issue.
You can go ahead and talk about what you do, who you are.
What I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, not much. I do schoolwork and fix every issue that's wrong with DI3. Other than that, that's about it. Issues aren't really often. Schoolwork, I'm going to be a tech engineer, so it's a lot, but it's fun. I mean, it's just tech stuff. Though, like, you know, setting up camera and everything, I'm not too great at that. That's all him. Hope I pointed the wrong way. Right way.
I hope so too.
No, I pointed the wrong way completely.
I know. It was really easy.
No, I did. I did point the right way, dude.
Nice.
Yeah.
Man, already
right,
going
sweet.
up great.
So, yeah, our Discord cams are actually like in, like, right sides. I can point over there, and it's like, hey, yeah, that's Absolute right there.
Hi.
The stream actually. Hey.
Tell a little bit more about who I am. My name is Absolute, as I said, aka Aaron, aka Abs, just completely depending on who you talk to. And I am both a streamer at Ignite, and I also coach Team Blue for D3.
Yes, he's a good coach. Good coach.
I'm debatable.
He's no, pretty good coach.
Give us 1 more second, we will have this switched as we were asked to do. And almost there.
So long.
Alright, you try doing this midstream while also keeping up a conversation. You tell me how it works, man.
I think I'll pass, actually.
You can go fast? Alright.
Keeping up a conversation is difficult enough.
Alright, it disappeared. Give me 1 more second.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, man, it's going great. Honestly, better than I thought to start out.
Yeah,
for
sure.
Let's see, pictures. Yeah, that's fine. Save. Let's call it back. Drop.
Maybe it's got some more depth on it than the one we've got right now.
Yeah, hopefully.
I like the one we've got right now, but
Alright.
not very backgroundy.
Not very.
That's a word that you can say. No.
Sorry, I was taking a little bit.
You know, be delayed.
Sorry for any hold up right now. I swear to God, we have something to actually talk about. If I can just figure out what's going on with this stupid picture.
Yeah, we've actually got links as well that we can throw in chat. I'm actually gonna go ahead and throw it in chat. Is that alright?
Yeah, let's go ahead.
Okay, y'all can go ahead and start read this a little bit. It's never mind. Deleted link.
Nice.
Nice.
All right. Go ahead and just. Here we go.
You got here. Yeah, you try to put in chat. I think he modded you, right?
1 more second. It seems I found the issue.
Okay, that's good too.
Trying to do this. Let's go try it this way. We're almost done, chat. I swear we don't have this many. Actually, we often do have this many technical issues. If I'm being honest, I'm sorry.
I mean,
this is also the first time, so we don't have anything to back up on. So technically speaking, starting off great.
His fault.
Not my fault. Not my fault. I want to
was
say
kind
that.
of waiting for you to actually hear what I said. I'm just like, I don't
And
know.
there we go. There is our
It's-
actual backdrop that we were requested to have.
It still hasn't gone live for me yet.
After I give me a few more seconds, let's go ahead and
Oh,
move
yeah.
this around.
Yes, it is. All right, sweet. Yeah, that looks a lot better.
All right, so now we can
Okay.
actually move on. Coming in with our
Now we can actually
weekly
talk about
stories.
stuff.
All right, go ahead and copy this
What do
link.
you got for me?
Copy link. Go ahead and put that in chat for everybody. You already got it in there. Good. So,
No, it
I can
didn't let
see
me
it.
put it in there.
I can
Oh,
see it.
well, not me.
Well, hopefully everyone can see it, and if not, you will have to simply sit through our dramatic retelling. All right, so
would-be kidnapper.
would-be
Yeah,
kidnapped her.
that goes.
So, recently, over a few days ago on January the 5th, a man walks in and tries to kidnap a woman after forcing his way from her car into a karate dojo.
This is
And I
okay,
quote,
so
the incident
when
happened...
we did the demo
yeah.
episode,
Mhm.
we talked about. I'm gonna quote Necro on this one because Florida man attacks again.
Florida man attacks again. This is a very Florida man attacks again
And
moment.
This is a very Florida man thing, but it's close to where I live.
We all have the
Which
Florida man inside of us.
honestly worries me. We all have Florida man inside of us. We all have. It's just it's there. It's everywhere.
Sadly just
It
a
kind of
thing.
worries me already. And
So,
also, why do you follow her in there?
oh, it gets better. Trust me. That's not the tipping point of the story. The incident happens at 9 p.m. Thursday outside Bushikin Karate Charlotte Dojo, according to CNN affiliate. Instructor Randolph Ephraim, I'm gonna say Ephraim, goes to the response. Ephraim told CNN he was straightening up when the woman rushed inside the studio. There were still some kids in the dojo being picked up by parents and a couple of adult students cleaning up when a young lady comes through our doors and stated that someone was trying to harm her, he told CNN. Shortly afterwards, a big male entered the building. Not a normal male, not a small male, not an average male, a big male enters the building, he said. Not knowing what he wanted, I assumed he was inquiring about classes. And honestly, I'm going to respect that a little bit right there, because that's a little bit of business. Just
He's ready.
He's like,
ready to
I'm
get
gonna
some
make this
business,
sale on these classes, and we can really see just kind of his priorities there, man. I asked how I could assist him, and he stated that he was there for the lady. She insisted that she did not know him and tried to kidnap her. Ephraim said he asked the man to leave, but he stated that he was not going anywhere. He then tried to force himself further into the dojo, aggressively pushing and swinging, the instructor said. I then went into action. I love how he says this. I went into action defending myself and got him outside of the dojo. Once outside, he attempted to attack again and was dealt with accordingly. This man was taken to the hospital with injuries. Accordingly was very rough.
No, this is the thing though.
What's up, Ozzy B?
He was talking about it. He's just
Big
like,
mail. Big
I
mail.
went into action defending myself and got him out of the dojo. So I cool, yeah, get him out of the dojo.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do. Once outside, he attempted to attack again and was dealt with accordingly. That part right there just kind of kills me because, like, dealt with accordingly.
Accordingly, yep. Let's go accordingly.
It's just.
And I want to, the direct quote from the CNN article is, he was taken to the hospital with multiple injuries. He didn't have, like, a cracked anything or, like, a
My
bruised
cam
anything.
froze on stream
There is...
for a second, and it's not.
It'll do
okay,
that.
Like, it's fine.
Don't worry, we'll have a bunch of freeze frames so we can just capture for you, bud.
Don't
But
send
there
it
was
to
enough,
me.
everyone sent him to him, poke Fluffy. But there was enough injuries there that they couldn't list them, and they just had to say he was sent to the hospital with injuries.
Well, no, it says that
This could be thirsty incel
be-
attempts to attack woman, gets beat down by karate instructor. I actually like that one more.
yeah.
Whitey, that's a good one.
There you go. The poke finally went out.
Oh, cool. Good stuff.
Good
But
stuff, dude.
this didn't even happen in Florida this week, I don't believe. This was in...
Wait, neither. Wait,
Yeah, this
it was in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina.
That's what I was talking
So
about.
there truly is just Florida men everywhere, I believe. Stop poking people in the D&D. That's not us, man.
Facts.
Hands up.
Oh yeah, it's bots.
Not even me. Not even me. All right, but moving on from the Florida man who was inside all of us, we move on to a shoe-in for the job. And this one really is a Florida man story. Fluffy, you could link it.
No, okay, yeah, it is. No,
So,
my links don't work.
I'll go ahead and get it then. Copy. Go ahead and paste this in chat for everybody. So, this, what I can best describe as one of the lead performers in 21 Pilots, Josh Dunn's lookalike, applies for a job at a store, and everyone who can see this link will see this.
Why is that accurate? No, that's bad.
It looks like a very out of sorts Josh Dunn.
He's upset. No,
and that's what I see.
He's upset. He's upset, dude.
Let's just read about what happened.
He's upset. Okay.
And this one really is a young man in Florida went for a job interview at Kohl's. First of all, starts out at Kohl's, not gonna be a great story. On December 5th, and decided to pick up a little something for his mom on his way out. Pick up something for his mommy. The only problem is he didn't pay for the shoes he got her. In fact, the Hernando, highlight that name real quick, Hernando County Sheriff's Office arrested him as he approached his car in the parking lot. Deputies identified the suspected shoplifter as 24-year-old Dominic Breedlove, who was taken to a county detention center and charged with retail theft. His bond was set at $500, and he was not hired at Kohl's.
Okay, if you're gonna go, I'll stop there for a second, because, there's more to it, but I think it just talks about the case.
It does.
Obviously, we can tell that, he probably got charged with something, maybe even a little jail time, we'll see.
I think it was, pretty fair.
You could read on, I don't know.
Breedlove, is that an actual... Breedlove is apparently his actual name. Whether that's more unfortunate than the fact that he was applying for a job there, I don't know.
But also, on top of that, though...
oh, God, Vegas.
I can't, because he's just he went in to apply for a job. That's like you go in to ask for a job, and then you're just like, hey,
He literally...
Also, I'm gonna steal that. It's
kind of here's what this...
That's mine.
The equivalent for this, if he was working, food services or, janitorial, if he had, applied for a janitorial job, he basically went in and then just pooped on their stuff and said, I'll clean it up later and make a new one. Don't worry about it. Who needs an employee discount when you can just not pay at all? That's pretty fair, Shep.
The term for it would be he went in and he was like, hey, I want a job here. But then he turned around and was like, I want a job, but I don't have one yet, so I'm gonna take this over here and just take it and be like, I'll pay for this whenever you hire me.
I'll pay for this later, man. Don't worry about it. Oh, camera, sorry.
Yeah,
don't worry. It's the These are the best freeze frames, though. I'm loving these. Also, sorry, chat's a bit small right now. We're trying to get it fixed, but it's another one of those things that's just gonna happen. So I'm reading it off somewhere else. Who needs something to pay for it?
Fine.
Big brain. That is the galaxy brain there, bud. He's so smart, right? I mean, come on, that's pretty business savvy. But, okay, that's when he allegedly bagged... Okay, so when he got inside the store, he picked up a pair of Nikes and went to the customer service line. Deputies said the line was long, so Breedlove returned to the shoe department. That's when he allegedly bagged an $80 pair of women's Nike Air Bella TR shoes and a $70 pair of women's Nike Elite TR shoes.
So that's why they were talking about he was getting it for his mom, because they're women's shoes.
Big chat now.
What if he just has very feminine,
very feminine feet.
Feet?
I want to hear your argument for this. I want to hear you argument for this. Is that your excuse for him stealing the women's shoes?
Yeah, that's it.
Is that what we're going with?
He can't buy the shoes and look like he's just still a man at a point, because they're just no, he stole the shoe, or he bought those shoes and they're for women. He can't use the excuse he's using them for his mom or something. We'll see him out wearing them in public.
I got them for my mom.
Did you really buy those? The thing is, though, if he's like, did you really buy those? He can actually tell the person who asked, he'd be like, oh, I didn't buy them. They were a gift.
Yeah, I didn't know about it.
That kind of thing. And then it sounds okay because he got them for free, right?
He wants to be a manly man, obviously. Big mood.
He wants to be a manly man. Yeah, that's exactly.
Only true men, and let me quote this correctly, only the truest of manly men wear women's Nike Air Bella TR shoes or Nike Elite TR shoes. Only the biggest of men Only the manliest of men.
That's what I'm here for,
That's
though.
it.
Like, he was trying to protect his feet,
Yeah, trying
and
to
they
protect his feet.
just
It's a protect your own feet world, you know.
do you wear
This is still
those
intro. This is
shoes?
kind
I
of
guess
intro
if you
still.
do wear those shoes, then you are a manly man. But other than that, I don't know, man. I don't know if you can argue that one. Womanliest woman. I
Thank
believe
you
it.
for
I believe it,
allowing me to
Necro.
switch this. I did forget already. But
But-
those are the two story times of the week with your resident Florida man of the week, since that always seems to be there. What are
Resident Florida man.
those? That's true.
Yeah, we're that's gonna be a permanent thing.
There's just gonna be
Every
one
week,
Florida
this
man
is- I
story.
think needs to be one Florida man story. I guarantee there's gonna be like actually there's a
They're gonna
radio
exist.
station
Like they
near
have
where
to
I live.
exist.
that every Friday there is actually like a I can't remember what they call it. But there's actually like a Florida man. It's called Florida Man Friday. That's what it's called. Every Friday is called Florida Man Friday, and like at like 10 a.m. they
Gonna
always go on and they talk about like something Florida story that somebody did.
I'm gonna say this real quick.
Um,
I in no way do I mean to be disrespectful to any Florida viewers we have, but there's something wrong
Some of the
with the
people you
state
live
of
with, I don't
Florida
know, like
where we have these stories popping up every single time. Fluffy, fix your
my
cam. Big
my
mood.
cam is fine. It's on his
Ban.
end.
Ooh, we got booed. Oh. It's his internet. It is his internet. It's a little unfortunate, but don't
Feels
worry.
bad.
We will always get freeze frames of his face at the worst moments possible, so we can look forward to that.
Just don't though. That's also
Oh, that's so
a pretty
sad.
good option.
You
know,
I'm not even
we're
looking forward to this. Does that
concluded.
make me wrong?
Episode
don't know,
one.
man.
That's it, guys.
That's
All
it.
we talked about was Florida
Florida Man, that's
and,
it.
apparently Charlotte Man as well.
Apparently, Charlotte Man, and Florida Man, the actual
Honestly,
romantic
yeah, Vegas.
pairing
I
of
feel that, dude.
2019. That's the romantic pairing for 2019. I'm calling it. Florida and Charlotte getting together.
Just just get with Shepard and like she can show you some she can show you some like D3 memes.
Yeah, really good D3
And then you'll
memes.
be pretty good. Quality D3 memes.
Introducing newest DC superhero, Florida Man.
Okay,
That's a good
let's
one,
move on
Necro.
to the next
All right,
thing.
all right. So moving on, we normally would have a
alright.
guest zone here, but it is just the two of us today, so we're just gonna move right on
Guest,
to
yeah.
the hot
Doesn't
games
matter.
of the week.
Hot games of the week are sort of gonna be like what we're playing and what's come out in the week. What are our opinions on games that have come out? And this week, I haven't really been playing that much Overwatch, you know.
Yeah,
Oddly.
chat for the guests.
Need to get
The
that in.
chat is the guest in
Um,
our hearts.
Chat is the guest of our hearts. Yeah, yeah. It's hot. Thanks.
Gator
dude.
sweet frames. But yeah,
But
hot games will either be games that we've been personally enjoying and our guests might be personally enjoying of their week, or just something that's been hot in the news or sort of has gotten a lot of attention. Oh, XUC main, welcome. Hello. But it's just gonna be a thing like that. So this week, I really wanted to talk about this for a little bit. I've been saving talking about this to Fluffy till the show happened.
So this is another to preface it. Everything that we have on our weekly tech and industry and games, everything that we have that we talk about, we do not talk to each other about it before the show, just because this is like us talking to each other about it.
And it
This
makes
is
it real
not,
boring
like-
for you guys if we like have this rehearsed or something, because that's super fake and nobody
Yeah,
likes
because
it.
I'm not
including
very
us.
good off reading off a script. He's probably better than I am. I'm not very good at it.
All right,
Um,
but going back to the
so,
focus, so the number one game that I want to talk about for the longest of times has been Atlas, the clone of
Pre-recorded.
a clone game set on an ocean mod. Just how can you do this?
okay, so this
How
is the
can you
thing.
do this?
Atlas, I've played very, very little of it, and also, Necro, we need to play some Atlas together. But
Call out your bud.
yeah. Well, we've been saying we're gonna play it Atlas, and then like we just haven't done it yet. But
Yeah.
On top of that, like I played a little Atlas, and it was actually
It was originally
pretty
DLC
fun.
for Ark. I believe that.
I don't know. I never played like I played Ark a lot, but towards the end of it, getting there, I was just kind of like, whatever. Well, that's like them saying other games are just like, that's not really working out for that one. But so when it comes to Atlas, it's actually kind of fun for me. I mean, like, a lot of people got upset because the servers are down, they're having issues with all that, the bugs in the game are bad.
See, it was originally, I just want to point this out when you say about the servers were down, it was originally set out to be the final deadline, not even the release date, the deadline for the release was supposed to be the 19th, and it was released on the 22nd due to server issues. It's just... what was going on?
We can't really judge it off that, though. Like, you remember when Pokemon Go released, right?
Yeah, I remember when Pokemon Go released. Who doesn't?
So you remember, like, for those who played it, and, like, most people did, these people, quite literally, like, there was so many
Hey, X and Air, thanks for the rate of 6, bro. That's big.
That for the first... Hey, sweet, yeah. For the first, like, 3-4 weeks of the game being out, server issues were just...
rampant.
It happened over and over and over and
here's
over.
My thing though. Here's my problem with that. Here's my problem with that argument. Because Pokemon Go, even if they did have server issues with a lot of lag time, they were up. It was released when it was said. This was pushed back by no. This was pushed back by 6 hours at a time for multiple days in a row.
Okay, that's fair. See, the game was still up on Pokemon Go, but it would limit the clients in server.
Crazy.
And like, if for some reason the server didn't limit clients, it would like somebody would get on and they'd crash the servers.
Yeah.
But like, they would be down for 2 hours.
But at least they were up.
They did have the release quotas. The crazy part about it is that game was so popular that it would go through and say, "Hey, look, yeah, we haven't even released in like Japan and the UK yet, but we're still having server issues and they're crashing everywhere." Like, they were trying to keep up. Atlas hasn't quite done the same thing. So
it's just okay. And here's the second thing. I find it so funny that before anyone gets this different sort of view on what I think Atlas is a good game. My problem with it is it was released as Atlas and not Ark on the Ocean or a DLC for Ark, because it's literally just Ark. I wanted it to do the original branding that it had. I wanted it to be Ark. I wanted to call it Noah.
Just be Noah's Ark.
Yeah, Noah, fine. That'd be better. Honestly, just be better, because the really annoying thing is that they had the resources, they had the backing, they had a lot of things going into it, and they scrapped it and said this is something new, and tried to lie saying it's something new when everyone knows it wasn't.
I actually kind of agree with Cap on this one. Why play Atlas when you just play Subnautica?
Right? Oh my god,
it's
Subnautica.
Actually, okay, so like,
did
you see
the okay, there's the did you see the Subnautica multiplayer sort of mod that people created like around the same time as Atlas? It was like a week before Atlas, and people were playing that instead at the very beginning. Oh,
nice. All right. Honestly, that's fine.
Just Dance 2019, true hot game. I believe that.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, it's just see you playing. I guarantee if we see you playing, it's a hot game.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, it's just. But Atlas is such a failing of the gaming industry right now, where we have things being promised and lied to the openly about the consumer, and it's just. The game itself is fine by me. The game is actually pretty neat. There's a lot of UI issues, but that's kind of like and that's pretty common in these building sort of open world games. Truly what they've tried to tackle here with the multiplayer of literal thousands online at the same time, and not an MMO base, but in a real-time action game, is phenomenal. My problem with it is that it just reeks of all the corporate mishaps and mistakes and just non-trusting that we see in gaming. It is just, that's the part that annoys me. Honestly, that's the part that annoys me. The only thing we need to make this even worse is microtransactions. And I'm just... That part is what bothered me. That's part what you making.
Yeah. The game's fun, I will say. At its core, the game is fun. It's just... It doesn't feel like it's completed.
It just doesn't.
Like, it's not only the fact that the servers were down. It's not only the fact that, like, they just had issues with basically everything in the game after launch. And the keywords are after launch. Not even, like, during launch. But, it's the big figure of it doesn't feel like a full game. If they update it to where it feels like a full game and it like actually update it to where they and they don't EA
ships for $50 by the way. Ships for $50. Sorry. Good point, Praise. Good point.
It just feels like it doesn't it feels like it's not done yet. And we're really I'm really hoping they get that figured out and they get that finished and they get it through. Because if they do that, that'll be actually an incredible game to play.
True, very true. But right now it's just there's too much that they released an uncompleted game with a lot of backing where it should have been, with a lot of issues that just shouldn't have happened from our side, and that's just that's where it hits me. That's just where it hits me.
I
But
want to touch on something real quick.
by the way, let
Before
me do
stream,
this
we
real
were
quick.
talking about our topics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, just real quick. For anyone who doesn't, this is the new show we're trying to form now called the Info Pit, where we bring on just two hosts, me and Fluffy, and we try to get a third guest every once in a while or every other week or so, just so we can have some fresh voices around. But we generally cover a pretty wide range of topics, from weekly news stories to industry to games to even what's going on in some personal lives, or like just information that we love, such as esports and everything else. But we have it every week, and just bring on hosts often as we can, other hosts as often as we can. So if you want to come back
Yes.
next week, and we'll still be around.
Atlas equals Battlefront 2.
Yes, I see that a lot. I do see that connection.
Yeah, but
Info
so
Pit.
we touched on this a little bit before stream when we were talking about the topics we were going over. You mentioned, like, and you even said it when we introed Atlas into this whole show, into it right now. You said the copy of a game. So we know.
Let's talk about Rust.
But what's Ark a copy of?
Ark's a copy
of Rust, right?
okay. Atlas is a copy of Ark that's a copy of Rust, and it's just like
what's Rust copying?
We all know what Rust is copying. I ain't gonna say it.
Is this something that'll just?
But Rust is Rust copy Minecraft a little bit, but not in the same way. Here's the thing. Rust was different than anything at its time, simply because of the assets that they put into it and the art direction of true survival it tried to swing back in its day. And that's what made it good. The current copies of Rust that we have going on right now are what bother me. That's just IMO.
That's
IMO.
Fair. I don't know if I want to call it a copy of
good
Rust,
graphics.
though. I think it's
I
more
like
of a
that.
rebranding.
Whitey, I like that. There's no nudity in Minecraft. That's where you're wrong. That's one of the reviews. 10% luck, 20% skill, 15 concentrated power of will, 5% rage, 50% zero reason to purchase this game. Oh, that's amazing. 80 at 80 for that awesome quote, man. 8. That's 80.
My boy 8. Yeah, dude. That's accurate.
This is R-rated Minecraft. I like that.
Whenever they give me purpose to actually play the game, I already bought it. So you know, jebaited right here, dude. Jebaited.
That's my new copy post. I like it.
That's.
But yeah, it's just. Sorry, that's good. That's all I'm gonna say about Atlas, because I could rant about it for hours. But that's just been my hot game, and hot is in the hot seat. Please go away for at least a little bit until you're finished of the week.
So we were talking about games that that are hot on Twitch right now. And one of the ones we noticed was FIFA 19. NBA 2K19 was actually up there as well. And sports games are more my deal than Absolute.
I don't sports ball. And the quote of one of my close friends, I cannot the sports ball.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Not FIFA. Oh no, not FIFA.
Oh no, not FIFA.
Don't talk about EA. They're gonna put a paywall
here's the thing.
the stream.
Oh, you know it. That's the next thing.
2% cut.
Ooh. Rough.
You can't with that one actually.
EA invented the microtransactions, and they're gonna go down with the microtransaction. If we're being completely honest, they've kind of set their own path.
You know what? That's fine as well. They do their things. Yeah, it's illegal in a lot of countries now. Like loot boxes, that kind of stuff. And I mean, yeah, I understand it. We're not gonna get into the political side of things.
We're not gonna talk about the loot box debate right now,
So.
just because that is something when it comes back again. And from the current dealings with a lot of countries that I've been looking into, we might talk about that next week. In fact, for how a lot of sort of international trading's being, but we're not going to touch too much on it because that's political. But we're just going to talk about it from the company side. But we're not going to handle it here. There's too much there. Can the new Genji skin in other countries? No. Fair enough, Chiller. Don't ruin it, please, EA. Big mood.
But so with FIFA, there's a lot of gameplay changes, and for any of you that actually play FIFA or anything like that, there are actually like a lot of gameplay changes. It feels different. The game's a little more difficult. Honestly, I believe that, Vegas. Like, people buy so many packs and everything to like build their games and everything.
Ooh, God.
But it's just, yeah, it'd be a lot of money, but like they can make. But like this new FIFA game, and I've said it before about like when FIFA 18 came out,
Mm-hmm.
same game another year. And I said the
Yep.
same thing about, NBA when it came out, and next Madden game, and all these games that come out, the sports games. Just
I
it's
just
another,
realized I
it's a
did
new
lie.
game
I have
with
played
another. What
Madden.
did you lie about?
I
You
have played.
have played
I've
Madden.
actually played quite a few
Ah.
hours of Madden. It was just when I was little, like
Okay, well, I
12.
mean that doesn't really count then,
No, but I
huh?
remember because a lot of my friends will play Madden. I'm not a sports ball person. I have a lot of friends who are sports ball people, and I
Would the
remember
referee
looking
AI
at
finally
every
be good?
single
Probably not.
when a ref's good. What it didn't say that. But I remember playing a lot of Madden at my friend's house and everything else, and he would show, "Here's the new Madden game. Here's the new Madden game." It's the same game with new players, and it's like, okay, but have they actually
So
changed that?
I just wanted to actually touch on what Blazin said. The new NBA game, they changed. So from like 2K14 to 2K, like 2K14 2K15 was a big transaction year for them. And I don't mean like microtransaction year. I mean
That
like
too, though.
that was a big year. They don't have quite as many, but it's like
It's a natural. It's
it's
just
like
natural.
buying points.
Yeah.
It's part of what's in a lot of games now.
To live with him.
In a big gaming house. But the thing is though with that is it's like okay cool well that year was big changes for them. That year signified like they changed the mechanics of their game, like the core of their game changed completely. um a lot of games that did that kind of it changed it a lot. Like a lot of games have changed the face of their entire game by changing mechanics and like the core base. So they did that back then and they've been improving on it ever since, and now it's actually like it's good. I really enjoy this new NBA game. Again, it is the same game, new year, and like a new roster. But you know,
It's
even though it's the same game, new year, they've made it feel a lot different, which is
you
like
have
the
to
key
realize
part of it.
we can't. Here's the thing with
There's
sports
also
games: we
only
can't
so much you can do with a
criticize
sports
them
game.
because we've been playing the same sports for a long time in America. Like we
Yeah.
have. That's just we have. They've gone through little changes, just like the video game side of them have. But in
Yeah.
essence, they're the same games because everyone loves them, and that's understandable. Honestly, it's the same sport, just with a game again and again and again. That's gonna be part of
We
it.
can't criticize them too much on it either, just
Yeah.
because like not only are we playing the same game year in year out,
Mm-hmm.
but also like what else are you gonna do with a basketball game? I remember at one point, NCAA. Well, they need to make a new one every year because like they're updating rosters. Now, granted, they could just throw updates out there, which
Mm-hmm.
is understandable. But they do make a lot of like background updates to make the UI better and all that, which is fine. They change up rosters, they make UI better. They
Vegas, it is mostly your argument.
some
It is honestly mostly Vegas's argument of money, money, money. You need funding for the games, and doing microtransaction and updates for single player releases or anything like that just isn't efficient enough to work in the long run. So releasing a new game
when
every
you
year does
compare
make sense.
games, yeah, when you compare sports
Music
games,
in the background? I considered
like
it,
from
Lovey.
now to like 10 years ago, they've changed drastically. Now that also comes with they've added new things, they've removed some things, but then they've also like taken it and said, "Hey, we're gonna up the graphics and do this kind of thing."
Why
Um,
only
I
do
guess
sports games do
only do it
this?
because they just want the money.
Here's the thing.
It's kind of what
Sports
it started
games,
doing it, and they swapped it.
why do
It has always
people
actually been EA's thing with
Here's the thing.
NCAA football, which is like my first games I started playing with sports.
Why do people watch the Super Bowl every year even though it's the same game? Because it's their teams. It's their players,
I don't
even
know.
if
It
they're
might
new.
be like what was it, 2012, 2013, when the lights went out
Yeah.
and in the Saint Stadium. It could be like that.
But we people will always watch the Super Bowl, so sports fans will always buy things because it's been the same way for a long time. It just has. It's the same reason I go to Quick Trip every morning, despite knowing that if I went to Walmart, I could buy the drinks I buy at Quick Trip for cheaper because I haven't. It's convenient. It's right in front of us. People don't want to go out and learn to play football for real.
So, I
But
actually
there's
do
a
the
good
same
thing
thing
about
with,
football. You can play it to your hand
I
now.
actually do the same thing with gas.
Yeah.
There's a place in town that like I'll go there and get gas when like I could go somewhere else and it'd be like cheaper.
One of the
But, and the thing is,
will
the
sadly
one
be
cheaper
there.
is closer to
Uh.
my house. The one that's cheaper is closer to my house too, but like I I don't know. It's become like tradition to me at this point, of like going to that one place to get gas. So
we invest ourselves into
why
it.
sports when you can fake sports?
Why
Yeah,
sports
exactly.
when you can
That's
fake
what playing
sports?
sports
That's it.
is.
That's what FIFA is. That's what Madden is. Why play sports when we can fake it on our couch? Because it's comfortable. It's consumable, but we love. It's the same reason I still like will tune into, for those less sports oriented out there. It's the same reason I tune into League every once in a while, despite me not playing League anymore, because I want to see where people are at. I want to see what's going on, because it's a game that I enjoyed a lot. Go outside, make some friendos. I refuse.
I kind of make any friends.
What are
who do you think I am?
I got Fluffy. He's kind of I don't know.
I guess we could call it that. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
What are we?
You're playing, in my opinion, a better game. What do you play? Why do you play FIFA when you could be playing, in my opinion, a better game? Because games are
IMO part of it. Like
IMO. It's an IMO. That's just it. You gave the answer right there. Mom collects comic strips wherever a comic mom is trying to get her kids to go outside and play.
Cap.
Why?
Just play MMA then.
Yeah, play MMA. Did you just say play MMA?
Play MMA. Yeah.
Did you
like
just say
game,
play MMA?
Not like
what?
I don't want to talk to you.
All
anymore.
right. All right.
That's it. That's the talk
All
show.
right. All right. Okay, bud.
You know.
I fence because it's fun
Okay.
stabbing people. Can't
Yeah.
get that virtually. VR. Just saying, we're coming there.
Yeah, actually.
We'll talk about
That's
VR
right.
soon too, because Oculus is doing some releases we're gonna talk about probably next week.
Vive has also done a lot of new stuff, but like
Mm-hmm.
Oculus is the thing is Oculus. Just to preface our, we'll call it next week's talk. Like I'm gonna go ahead and actually like put it on a sheet for next week talk. Okay.
To tie this back into the hot games, anybody who has not been following the trends of looking at how things are getting more and more realistic with Vive, and how we all can pretty much expect the eventuality of having a sports game in VR, and how that's going to tie back to what we're arguing about now with just driving in things. How long is this? This is going to be about a 2-hour run. We started a little late because it was Yoggsy's birthday. We're not going to kick him off on his birthday. Like, happy birthday, Yoggsy. Honestly, happy birthday to him.
By the way, happy
please
birthday.
in chat. But happy birthday to him. So we were just gonna let him go over as long as he needed to. But we started a little late. But we will be going till about 1 hour and 9 minutes away from now. So 2 hours, yeah.
Yeah, 2 hours.
Happy birthday, please everybody, give it up. Happy birthday to Yoggsy. He deserves it. He helps out so much with all the streaming people on DI. He literally runs this stuff. Literally. So please give him a happy birthday, man. He deserves it. 16th baby. Hey. All right.
So,
anyways, but
with the Vive and everything, what I wanted to say on it was, it's gotten so much better from now. You touched on the point that they like one day we're gonna have sports games fully fledged in VR. Have you gotten a chance to like see any gameplay or anything of Pavlov?
Ooh, I haven't seen Pavlov. I've been following Beat Saber, to be honest.
Yeah, okay,
oh,
fair.
dude.
So
So cool.
Pavlov is Oh, and happy birthday, Jackal! I knew you were gonna tune in.
Jackal's here too. Hey,
some
bro.
fun,
Happy
yeah.
birthday, man.
Shout
out to him, please. Everyone get a happy birthday for Jackal too.
Yeah. Pavlov is basically CS:GO
Wait,
in VR.
was that tech demoed at the original Vive release?
Maybe.
I think I remember.
I don't remember watching.
It was
the
either.
original Vive release.
I'm pretty sure it was. I don't know if it was the Vive specifically, but I remember it was their series. Either it was Vive or the series before. I'm pretty sure that I remember them mentioning Pavlov game, and it wasn't fully done yet. But they released a tech demo. And I was looking at the game, I'm like, how do you make first-person shooter where you have to move a lot, you have to not get shot, and how do you make that fun in
I got a chance to actually
VR?
get my hands on that game. By the
Oh,
way.
you got to play it?
And yes, it is so much fun. It's weird though because there's so many things about it that's so strange. The controls, obviously, you're not going to be able to walk around. I don't know how many people here saw Ready Player One.
I did.
I feel like a good
that
amount
was
of people
that was
would
a
have.
it was a
You
pretty
saw
good
it?
movie.
So once we get to that point in VR, I'll be satisfied. I
Done.
don't want anything
We'll be
else
done.
in life.
That's
Like, I'm
it's
good.
over.
And the movie is actually really, really good.
I don't know if we're ready for Ready
But-
Player One though.
no,
Really though.
It'll be actual exercise to do things in games.
Oh
and
God, I don't.
Personally, I'm just not ready for that.
I'm panting
I'll
about it.
just
I was
stop
thinking
doing
about it. Man.
No, I just need to stop going to the gym. Like, it
Yeah.
won't be a gym thing anymore. It'll be
I
a,
got
hey,
him.
we're going to do this. No spoilers, yeah.
We're not gonna say anything. Just
Just
VR is very
the
fleshed
preface
out
of the
there.
game is that they have very, very good VR. Actually, a couple years ago, they had a demo for...
Pink, I'm not gonna say your comment on stream, but I'm gonna laugh at it because that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. All right.
But so on top of that though, like they have a very fleshed out VR system where like you have like a treadmill you walk on, and there's actually I wish I would have had the link ready for this before if I don't know we would be talking about it.
Are you talking about the circle ring?
I'll have it next week. The rig where you like you're harnessed in and you
Okay,
get to walk
I got
around.
room to do this, so I'm just gonna show you. So imagine there is a ring, a literal like ring around my body, like this, and then it's a support harness set up around my waist, and you can run, you can do everything else because it's a zero friction surface on the bottom because it comes with specialized shoes, which was funny at the time when I first saw it. But anyways, it comes with specialized shoes, and there's a meter at the bottom, and the rig allows you to go up and down, turn, and get full 360-degree movement along with ducking, jumping movements, and everything else without ever leaving the same space, so that VR can never become inaccurate.
Yeah. And that would be so awesome and honestly terrifying once we get to that point too. So, you know.
It's gonna be, I mean, I'm excited for it, at least to see what happens, because
yeah.
if something happens bad, it's gonna be like, hey, man, at least it happened, though, right? That was pretty cool.
Talking about Atlas.
Yeah, Atlas.
Okay, we'll continue
Trash
the
game.
VR talk next
I mean,
week,
what? Yeah, we can talk about that again later.
Wow, that's toxic.
Just saying, man.
No, we'll continue that next week because that way we can actually start talking more about what's going on. That way I can actually get articles, that kind of stuff for you guys to actually read and.
But we'll talk about that more next week.
I'm definitely gonna get an article about the rig though, that holds you up and like you can walk around in and everything.
Yep. We'll probably put that in tech.
I'm definitely gonna get an article for y'all to do that.
Speaking of, despite us being on talk, we can go ahead and move into tech. Sound good, Fluffy? Move into tech.
Move into tech.
Move into tech.
I don't actually think I had any more.
Because we're kind of talking tech for a little bit. But we were talking about games.
I talk about tech a little too much as well. So
Day Live 3 is a thing now.
Kind of what I do.
Talk about anime.
You're going to jump into. So I'm gonna do it a little off organization on the list. Just bear with me whenever I go at it.
You can go ahead and drop links in.
Drop links. So we're gonna talk about the floating floating firm. We're gonna talk about the floating farm first. I can do it.
Should work. Awesome.
Yeah, I got it. Okay, so floating farms. We were gonna cover this. I think this was the thing I wanted to cover last week, but we just couldn't go live last week. We didn't have anything ready.
So it's a little bit of an old news type of thing, but
it's a little bit of an old news thing, but it is still like really, 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 really incredible to me. So I'm going to go ahead and read through it just a little bit, just kind of skip through a bit. In the next 3 decades, the global population is expected to grow by more than 2 billion people.
Anime
that
topic?
Could be a problem.
Maybe Vegas. Maybe.
We already failed to feed the roughly 7.5 billion people currently living on the planet, so we need, it's an entirely new agricultural system to accommodate more. If you want to read more, go ahead and read through the rest of it. We're going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about the pictures in it.
We're going to...
So, the thing is, the name is pretty...
self-explanatory.
Well... It's pretty self-explanatory. It's a floating farm. It is actually like world population will stop at 12 billion. Maybe we'll find a solution to it as well. But it's actually just like a floating farm on top of the water that works. And I mean, it works just like a regular farm. You grow plants, you do all that kind of stuff. But there's so much more ocean and everything else than there is land. So much more water. Why is it floating though? Space reasons. Like we can use the water to filtration to filter it in and then do it that way. But
because he can't read. Oof. Taking
shots
shots already.
He got me. But no,
how many Fluffy? I'm
really,
23 and I never learned how to read.
And they're gonna have like animals being going in there and everything. It kind of looks just like a warehouse, but modernly designed. Not gonna lie. And if you scroll down a little bit, they actually show you like it's solar powered. They've got little robots that collect all the manure to help all the plants and everything. Like these things they're not small. In the pictures, they look kind of small, but they're massive. The ones that they're actually planning on doing are absolutely huge. They talked about doing the I can't think of the word.
I'm confused on what you're trying to say.
I am 2D.
Great.
they're thinking about making it even bigger than like what I said before. Like it looks like a warehouse, but modern
Yeah.
design, making it even bigger. Like quite literally, it's going to be big enough on one of the floors to
What was
fit an
that?
entire silo.
What was
on
that
there
old sci-fi
to feed
show?
the cows. You're gonna have to say a little. You say old sci-fi show immediately. I'm just like,
Okay,
the
this might have
purple
been.
people monster.
Who remembers
the purple
sci-fi?
people
Like who remembers the sci-fi, like the actual network named Sci-Fi that had a lot of those
Yeah,
trash
that's
sci-fi
still
horror
that's
movies?
still up.
That's still around,
Yeah.
right? Like I don't have cable
That's still
anymore, so I'm
around.
not
That's still
sure.
around.
I don't
I don't
remember
really watch cable
when this
anymore, but
movie
yeah, still.
aired, but basically there was just a sci-fi movie where humanity did exactly the floating farm idea, but they covered the entire ocean, and then suddenly there were mer people underground because humans hadn't been down there in so long, and that's what just reminds me of. And it was so
Okay.
dumb. It was so dumb.
That's so weird. But I mean, yeah, it kind
was
of
a
sounds
dumb
like
movie.
okay if it was probably remade with a bigger budget. It'd probably be all right.
It wouldn't have been. It was a really dumb
You
idea.
obviously
It
disagree,
was.
but
It was
okay.
such a dumb idea.
So,
I'm sorry.
each level is
Mhm.
like big enough to hold whatever it needs. So like if there's a level that needs to be big enough to hold an entire silo and basically like have grass everywhere so cows can go
Mhm.
around and do all that because they're going to use the manure from the cows to
Yeah.
fertilize the plants and then do that kind of stuff. That would be really really space efficient if you could stack them on top of
Fluffy's
each
botting
other
out.
instead of
There we go.
knots.
Mhm.
It would be a lot better.
Like, if we want to talk about agricultural things in relation to this floating farm idea, we have figured out, or not we as in Americans, but we as in many of the Asian countries and lower African tribes, if I remember correctly, more specifically, for technology, developed the idea of creating such things on the ocean or on the riverside beds instead of having to restrict it to their own lands for a long time. I remember last week I was actually having to study some Aztec / Incan tribes for a class of mine, and oh, thank you very much, Pink. But we were just studying these tribes, and they had been one of the few tribes to ever successfully create a migratory on-water tribe using local
Wow.
lake beds, in which they hid from both the Spanish and modern civilization within the past 50 or to 100 years, successfully, and only to be discovered about 40, 50 years ago. It was mind-blowing, but they had figured out how to be completely self-sustaining through fishing and growing on their plant beds, because they floated on plant beds. Their entire life was built on plant beds that just floated inside the river. And it was just mind-blowing things seeing these through. And they've created these with those techniques. If we can bring the same idea of water living and enriching our society by expanding into a point where we won't have to be condensing our population like we are right now, we're on a good set right now. We're on a good set. Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I want to talk. So the cows and everything, like they were talking about doing cow farms. So I mean, why cows? And they kind of cover that as well.
Yeah.
Within the part of it itself, it says it wasn't the smartest idea to start with the floating dairy farm because
Vegas.
cows are very big and curious, and they move together, so the structure has to be fairly stable. But in the Netherlands, we're used to floating structures and building on water. In our project, maritime technology and agriculture technology come together. Thank you. That combination makes this project so interesting for the Dutch. And that is correct. I mean, yeah, it's not the brightest idea to start with cows. I don't know how much experience with cows y'all all have. That's what, yeah.
Cows are the worst.
They're not bright.
They are. They're not as dumb as sheep. They're not as dumb as sheep, though.
All that Bryce? No, sheep are kind of stupid.
Sheep are literally the dumbest animals on earth.
But
look out car window. Oh, look, cows.
Start with chickens. Actually, chickens are kind of like they're brighter than cows.
Here's the thing,
smaller,
though.
So
the reason it talks about using cows is because cow manure and cow dung, as I'm gonna say it, you can't make me say it. Cow dung is some of the best manure. Yeah, I just did. What are you talking about, Bun? Bun? Come on.
No way.
But they actually have some of the most, although their farts are literal methane, which reduces our atmosphere as a total, their actual manure and emissions that way actually have some of the most efficient growth what is the right word? Growth nutrients for plants, which are normally used in farming, such as wheat, other plants that I'm currently
Yeah, they
blanking
have
on.
the
Don't
right.
blame me. But they have the exact right amounts of every single chemical in their dung for this to work. And that's why we're focusing on using cows right now. I say we, there. Always end up
Yeah,
talking
they
about poop
have.
because I have a cruddy personality. Anyways, had to work that in there.
Hey, moving on to the next topic.
Because
No,
poop. I already
like
said it.
there's a lot to the cow farms, and I like it's something I really suggest giving a read. But we've only got 2 hours, and
Yeah.
we've already used up
We
one.
already used the first
So
hour.
maybe like if y'all want, we'll go. I'll go in more depth about it and do like a lot more.
Yeah. But we still have
Maybe next
1,
week,
2,
we'll
3,
see.
4 talking points to go through, and we only
I
have
still
like
got
an
a lot
hour.
of things I want to go through and everything.
Second news, are we talking about cow poop? Cow poop is biological tech. Big brain.
That's true. So something else. It's not long
I would
after
like to eat
Christmas
now.
now. It's a bit longer than I was hoping that we would be able to stream after Christmas time because something that's a little more relevant to Christmas time with all of these things. I guess it'll be relevant to this Christmas as well, like this year, but that's later this year, like
Yeah.
an entire year away basically.
We got a while.
But a lot of Apple products came out, and like one of the big gifts of last year was AirPods. Apple AirPods.
I will.
My boss at work, who is, I think she's like 63, which that's
actually have these right here.
Like
I actually
about
have
her
these right
being
here.
older, but like she uses them all the time at work. It's definitely not an age locked thing.
I don't speak broke boys.
She...
That's really sad. Anyways, life is a life for me. Big moods all around everyone. I actually have
honestly,
my.
They're really incredible. I don't
actually have mine right. Don't tell me they don't fall out. Do you tell people they don't fall out? Okay, here's the thing. I don't actually have AirPods. I have the Samsung equivalent sound cores, which are actually better by all testing that I've done personally. Fake news. They do. Here's my problem with these. He's a cheat. Here's my problem with the AirPods. It sticks to that old design that never fit my ears personally, of having that little sort of oblong little tube type deal that directly connected to the earbuds.
That's
the Apple headphones, and it's
they're not
bad.
going away from it.
Here's the ones I got, and it actually has the earbud design.
For you. That's an opinionated.
Nah, they're pretty bad. Sound cords, but their Samsung equivalent also works with the Apple ones, but they're a lot more reliable. And I have dropped these things quite a few times, and I have had no issue. And I've seen my friend drop his AirPods once, and they shattered. So I'm just saying, like, there's something wrong with Apple, and it's just my little soapbox against Apple. I'm sorry.
I don't know. They're really incredible.
Don't
so
get
far.
caught listening to music.
Everything behind them are.
I do that same thing.
And,
don't tell my teachers.
Well, I'm telling your teachers now, dude.
Rude.
I don't know how I'm going to, but it's happening.
My bottle fell. That's the next level, right?
But like that's a lot of people. A lot of people would do that. Just kind of hide it and be like, yeah, I'm not quite as fortunate. Don't have enough hair to do that.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't use my hair. I literally just have that whole like
a hoodie.
It's just work on it. I'm totally working on my work, man.
Shepherd,
This is going down with Muslim girl who worked. Genius. Use your resource. Adapt, overcome, survive.
Can somebody please clip that, please?
Because I would do the same thing if I had money, because I have long hair. Yeah, sound cores were just cheaper than a lot of the other ones around. It would work really well. But honestly, can I just say that this should have been like the whole AirPod idea. I'm gonna call anything with the non-attached cord the AirPod idea without the whole ring. Because I don't know if anyone knew about these too much.
Yeah,
but I used the ones with the rings that basically form the half necklace around your back of the neck.
Yeah, they're
it'd sit right
supposed to
here,
like
so you could look
go
like
behind you or in front of you. And it's mainly for like working out kind of stuff.
And I did that. I had a pair of those. Those broke after like a few months with me because of multiple reasons.
Broke mine.
Here's why I broke mine. I melt things that I touch with my skin for too long. And I have actually, if you want to see this, I have a stainless steel bracelet here that's actually eroded from my skin. And so what I have to be very careful about cords. I don't know, but apparently it's something that melts things. So that's the thing. but those broke for me, and I was like, oh,
you're
this is really bad. You're saying you're too hot, huh?
Yeah,
Vegas
you're
gets
hot.
it. I like Vegas. Vegas is my favorite so far.
No, it's like
I see. Big brain. Got that galaxy going.
Segue, but all right.
But but no, I had those and those broke. But they worked well for a really long time. And the technology was obviously there to do the earpods for at least a little bit. We've had that, the short range waves and Bluetooth, everyone. But these felt like this should have happened a little bit sooner. Am I wrong? Like, he's a lava lizard person.
I think they should have.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. I want to agree. I really think they should have happened earlier. It's tech that's been widely available for us. I mean, we've had the Bluetooth speakers for how long?
I get it. Okay, this is gonna, if we don't mention this, we're gonna sound super stupid. We get it. It's the condensing of the technology that's so difficult. We understand that. But
It's so much though. Like I say this,
if you can have a literal supercomputer
study on a daily
right
basis.
Here, if we have a supercomputer in the actual chip for this phone in particular, I'm pretty sure I think it was somewhere around this area, remembering correctly. This is the Note 8. And the chip is only about this small for the entire interaction. And chip's a little bigger. Is it a little about this big? But that's for I'm just talking about the receiver technology for the actual.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you're right then. For sound, it's literally just like, it's basically the size of a diode.
Yeah.
In a board.
If anyone knows what a diode is, you want to explain that real quick, because that's a tech word.
Diodes. So I don't know.
Come on, tech suit, you can do it.
Like looked at your motherboard or anything like that. Diodes. I won't get into like what they do and all that, but they're teeny tiny.
Educational stream, you know it. Info pit. You pity the info because you're still hearing it.
And you pity the info, yeah. I don't have anything. At least I don't think I have anything that
is it
kind
just
of
mirrors
his
Poggers education goes. I like that one.
Okay, so this.
Yeah.
Right here.
That.
The tip of that. Like the amount of this that you can see right now.
Right here. I'll hit it with my mouse.
The size of a diode. It is teeny tiny.
That less than a nail thing.
So. Yeah.
LED light sensitive diode. Yep.
Absolutely small.
Think of it like that.
So, and that's the only thing I have to represent the size.
And we've had that for a long time, so it's just kind of weird these have been like so long in the works, or at least I think they've been in the works for a long time, and we just now are getting them. That's a little weird to me, but honestly, it's really cool technology, and I absolutely love mine. I got them for my birthday, not Christmas, but I absolutely love them. They're fantastic. We're in school, weird. I mean, public education in America. We can talk about that later.
That's the topic we probably shouldn't touch on.
No, let's not talk about that, actually.
But yeah.
School is not useless. It's just not always useful.
It's okay. School works for
we're not going to talk about this.
And for others, it doesn't.
We're not getting baited by Trat. We're getting baited by Trat if we go into this.
Okay. Baited. All right. So on the whole Apple subject, though, this is something I'll drop a link for because this is something I'm kind of hyped for, actually.
We're talking about the 5G.
No. Apple Air chargers.
Right.
So this is something that has
been in the wrong category
for like since 2017. It is in the wrong category. I told you, bear with me. So this right here, the link that I put in chat, it is air chargers. Basically, the way that they work is like you plug them into the wall, or like it's a battery, basically. And you know how in a lot of movies they like just plug something in and automatically like their phone just starts charging automatically. Yeah. It's just like, wow, it's over there. There's no wire. There's no connection. We have those little pads that you can set your phone on, and it's like it charges that way. But this is like it has a range on it. Obviously, it's not just like limitless. But you can plug it in and walk into a room, and then when you walk into that room or into the range of that device,
it'll start charging.
It just starts charging.
Who remembers Tesla?
I'm really hyped for it personally. What do you mean? Who remembers Tesla?
This is Tesla's idea of free energy.
Oh, Nikola Tesla, not just
not the car.
I thought you were talking about the company.
No, I'm just like, Nikolai Tesla.
I like their cars, though. I like their cars.
I'm not a car guy. You can do it.
Okay.
I have no opinion on that one. You got me.
Guy, so that's where
wireless charging.
That's fine.
Right? It's very cool.
Yeah. No, not only wireless charging, but like
another good free
It's possible with like magnetic fields, if you manipulate magnetic fields in the right way, that's all charging is. The
Mm-hmm.
ones where you place your phone on something and it charges the battery, how do you think that energy just seeps into the battery through everything?
Post
But,
review.
it's
He
not
might do
only,
drugs
like,
on stream. That's not okay.
the battery just, yeah, for us that's not too okay.
It's not gonna work.
But like the battery doesn't just do
Easy.
that. It just change name.
Change
Yeah,
name
close
easy.
enough.
I thought that
Don't
was a
look
comment
quite
that I
like him,
messed
though.
my name. I thought it was a comment that I messed up the name at the bottom right, and I was like, "What?"
No,
No, okay, we're good.
My name's right on stream. You're
All
good.
right. Anyways, sorry.
But it like that's
why
all
you
it
do
is
look like him.
magnetic fields. I remember I was in I can't remember what I can't remember what store I was in. I was in some store. We'll say it was Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
I was in Walmart with a friend one time. We were going around with one of my roommates, and we were going around shopping, getting food, just groceries, that kind of thing. And I don't know why, but for some reason, I kind of like an idea popped in my head, and I was like, "What if instead of going to a register and checking out, whenever you put the like item in the basket,
Mm-hmm.
like it scanned it then?
Yeah, it scans it.
It scanned it then, and like you could tell like when you took something out." You could like you'd have a little UI interface that you could actually like take stuff out, that kind of thing. But like whenever you put something in, it scanned it automatically instead of like and there's a lot of issues with that idea. I'm aware. But what if you did that instead? And then like you could go up to the cash register and basically all they'd have to do is audit what you put in and check it instead of scanning everything, waiting all that long, that kind of thing. It would also be useful because I used to work at Walmart for a while. We have something called like the personal shoppers where you can order something online and then you come in like an hour, 2 hours later and they've already ordered it for like they've already picked it up and everything.
Vegas. We already had a news story about how that can't work.
And we've already
we already had a news story about that, Vegas. We're not going back up there.
Don't apply for a job at Walmart and then steal something from
what happened to the guy from Kohl's, I guess.
And you won't end up on the show for that reason.
Yeah. If you do though, we'll be like our friend Vegas. We'll call you out though. Don't worry. Don't do it though. Please don't do it.
But so like if you look at it though, we were talking about like okay, well what's the logistics behind it? And that it's a constant thing, coffee. It's the bad internet life.
Yeah, it's his life. Trust me, we've done everything we can do to try to accentuate
life.
it. The only thing we can do with it now is create memes with the freeze frames. And I'm just saying, I want to see some good
Actually,
ones.
no, I'm not prepared for the memes you're gonna create. But like
online shopping. Here's my problem with online shopping right now. It's too slow. Honestly.
Well, see, having this cart would fix it though.
Yeah.
It would help it. You could shop for it and everything, and then go into the store, pick it up, or like have them deliver it to you, whatever they decide to do, whatever options they have. But you can just like put it in, and it would just check off. Like it would just, you'll get that.
That's a good one, Chip.
It would be so much more easy to do that kind of thing, or it'd be easier to do that thing.
Yeah.
English, not good with it. But you could go in and do that. The logistics issue is, how are you going to charge that? Are you going to plug in every single basket?
Yeah. Here's another thing though, like that also, how would you read the items with a barcode? It's like, oh yeah, it's a barcode, but at the same time, there's gonna be ways to trick the system and everything else, and it's just like
there are, and maybe that's the reason that instead of having it as like a public thing to where everybody can use it, it's just like for ordering online.
Yeah,
you can do that. Like maybe Walmart should get delivery drivers. They should get delivery drivers and more online shoppers. That way, in the same day, and they can guarantee 2-3 hours, depending on the size of your order.
Yeah.
You can order it, and then they'll take it to you after they do it, and have you pay online. But they'll be able to pay online. Like it'll just take it out of the Walmart's inventory whenever they check it through the basket.
Yep. Okay, this was a conversation about air power, by the way. Apple's air power.
I'm getting there.
All right.
There. It's a long segue.
A very long segue. We're getting there now.
It's a big bit. But something that I wanted to touch on, like with that, is the fact that you could use magnetic fields the same way, the same tech that the AirPod is using, to charge the same sort of thing that's going on with these buggies. Now, these buggies, they're not going to have they don't need as much battery power as, say, those phones do. Maybe their charge will last 4 or 5 days.
Bluetooth charging, basically. That's what we're talking about, yeah. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. And you can manipulate the magnetic fields. You know at Walmart where they keep the carts and everything? They can manipulate the bottom and the top of that to be magnetic field, like whatever the tech is called. I don't know the actual technical word for it.
They hydrated.
But they could manipulate those to be the chargers on both sides. That way they could be able to manipulate their own magnetic field throughout both of them. The issue is with that, there's a lot of safety concerns because we don't have the tech to... We don't have a lot of tech to... Basically, like, we have the tech to make it small right now. We don't have the tech to make it that big.
Yep.
Or it gets to a dangerous point. Because I don't know about you, but there's a lot of sci-fi movies based off of, you know, messing with the magnetic fields of Earth.
And then
too many of those probably do that. Yeah.
Here's another thing about the whole... We are talking about the air charger, by the way, in case there was... Anyone forgot. Did you actually ever post a link for that?
I did put the link in chat. I'll put another link for anybody.
I think then you pay a fee at the start of the month, and you can go in and walk out with like membership card and just swipe it. Everything you get something. Swipe it. Everything you get something. Swipe it. Everything. I don't get the last part. Press this products get smashed and take less space. No, that's that universe brain. Past galaxy brain, bud.
Universe brain, dude.
All right.
Ooh, I just hit my...
Relink that. So for anyone who is wondering what we're still talking about, we are talking about this. But the whole air charging thing, if you remember, if anyone's ever, this is gonna sound stupid and nerdy to still like look at these type of things. But I used to love looking at Nikola Tesla's Can someone say that for me? Can you say that for me? Nikolai Tesla. Nikolai Tesla. I used to look at his drawings.
It doesn't matter. We're American. We don't pronounce things correctly.
Darn tootin'.
We're from the South too. What do you mean?
Darn tootin' yeehaw, brothers. But Nikolai Tesla's drawings about his idea of free energy and having these long-range transmitters doing things like creating flying planes, working with robots, getting free energy without having to worry about charges and electrical maneuverability and all that. That's what we're getting to, and it's so cool to look at what he had envisioned then and see it coming to fruition now. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. I like this.
Yeah, Boston Dynamics has like the robot dogs that they have and everything. You know, the ones that like they'll close the door on and be real dicks to.
Yeah. Sad.
They're gonna be the ones that cause like a robot uprising.
Oh, from your country, cool. Yeah.
But it's like there's a big thing of they got parkour robots too. You're talking about the backflipping robot, right? If it's not clearly English, Americans can't pronounce it. That's facts.
It's very fair.
Big facts.
Very fair.
But like they've got like those backflipping robots now too, which is like, that's wild. That's so cool too.
Why do we have it? Somebody thought it'd be cool.
Okay, so the movements definitely didn't start off fluid because I don't know if you've gotten to see the footage of like the earlier ones.
Where they just fall on their face. Literally, they just fall on their face. There's so many videos.
It's just like a... and then they just stop.
There's so many videos, and I remember watching these in my robotics classes. Cap. Trying to nice name from COD Modern Warfare Nikolai. Exactly, is trying to pronounce it like a Russian guy. I don't know the proper way of saying it. That's the thing. Instead of Nikola, so it's Nikola, not Nikolai. Because Fluffy's the one who said Nikolai. I said Nikola.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, you blame me on this one. I'm okay with that.
But
that's awesome.
Anyways, but I remember just watching so many videos from my robotics class of this is the newest sort of version of this, and they're just releasing it. It's so cool. And it was just a video of it falling on his face, and everyone else going, "Wow, how can't we have this done by now?" Like how hard this can be. I know a lot more now, and I know how hard it is now because I've seen different things on it. But it's just so funny. Nickel or Tesla. That there, nickel or Tesla.
There's a lot of technological advances with and that's why like I really like this charger I really like the preface, the idea of it, because it's just kind of incredible, like to be able to have that technology. Like what's next? What's after this? Is this the final form?
There's a moth.
What's further on?
It's so large. It's actually an intimidating. It's on my roof. An intimidatingly large moth. Okay. Boss battle. Oh, the boss battle. Nickel or Tesla.
Because I think I told you before. We're gonna call this the Applesode.
Yeah. We're just bringing Apple's come out with a lot of things recently. And their Apple, they come out with a lot of things. So
I want to talk about them. The next one is Apple's plans for this upcoming year, because I don't know how many of you actually
have taking
seen,
over.
I tried to talk to.
Don't say it on stream. Just run.
Necro and Absolute about it. but we were trying to talk about like,
Guess you'll never get a
have you
doctor on
seen
the
the
show.
advertisements? Yeah, probably not. Um, like, have you seen the advertisements that Apple's been putting out for their new iPhone X RE, I think it is. The one with like it's supposed to have like a super clean, colorful display and everything. Sucks for colorblind people, but whatever.
Both of us.
Yeah.
Both of us are colorblind,
But,
which is the funny part.
but so like those like that phone, they've put so much hype around it and built it up crazy amounts. This link that I'm putting in chat, if it'll send. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that link right there actually goes through to tell you like they're apparently releasing 3 new phones this upcoming year. I guess that's not as strange as I thought it was originally. Now thinking about it, because last year they released the iPhone 8, the big variant of the iPhone 8. Can't remember what it's called. Probably just the iPhone 8X, if they have that. 8 Plus. That's it. 8 Plus. And then the iPhone X, and the iPhone X Plus, and now the iPhone XR and the iPhone XRE.
Basically, still can't figure out a creative name for phones, but you know,
no,
here we are.
I mean, yeah, they went with the system. They went with the product. And now they're doing that.
Because each update it kicks the phone and takes
that
part
is
of its
actually
performance until
something
it
they
gets
do
slow.
though. So when they update iOS or their operating system,
Internal operating
they say,
system.
hey, when they update the operating system, well, every phone updates with it. Like when Android doesn't update, and I'm not saying Android's better or anything like that. I'm just saying like this is the comparative side of it.
Mm-hmm.
When Android does it, they don't put out tech that only works on like Galaxies or the Note 9.
Yeah.
They don't only put that tech out and say, hey, everybody has to run on that operating system now. No, every phone has its own operating system and version. So, and like, that's fine. But with Apple, they go with the iOS where everything runs on the same thing. But I can't, like, think of the word, I can't think of the word. Abs, help me.
I'm trying to think what we're saying.
I can't.
I don't know what you're trying to say. I got distracted by that large moth again. It's a very large moth that just blocked my entire bulb. That's weird. That's very creepy.
That's fine, yeah. But so the thing is with
Mercy, maybe
the iPhones is they're not really changing a whole lot anymore. With the iOS, they push out those updates, and I can't remember what I was trying to say before.
They push out an updates and they do it on every single system regardless of the system's capabilities, which thus makes them start to stutter, perform inaccurately, or simply even will tell them to go down the wrong wiring from the physical state and break things that way and cause problems such as shorting batteries or sudden lack of ability to turn on. It's ridiculous, honestly. All those freaking lights, mate, right?
Yeah. And that's kind of what it is. It's like they purposefully do that because they want more sales. And it's not the most ethical practice in business, but I mean it's a business practice. Not everything's going to be ethical.
And
it is a business practice.
That's capitalist America.
Money, so, yeah.
Laissez-faire.
But these new phones are coming out with everything.
Good to a point.
Yeah, these new phones are coming out and everything. I see the moth now. Like back there, yeah.
You cannot tell Death because it doesn't look like the right size.
We're gonna name it Todd, okay?
Is
that alright with you?
That's fine with me. Get it out of here.
Alright, his name's Todd. No, Todd stays. He lives there now.
I don't want him to.
Kicking my boy out. That's rude. He pays rent.
No, he don't. What are you talking about? I'm stopping that one. No.
Okay.
Hashtag kick Todd out, not my lamp.
Kick Todd out. Jesus Christ. Okay.
I ain't killing it. Did nothing wrong to me. It just is intimidating. That's not enough to kill anything. I'm just saying, like, that's not a reason.
It's his room now, dude.
No, it ain't. Kick him out.
Yeah.
I ain't killing him, but I'm kicking him out.
It's intimidating you. It's his.
Todd does not welcome you right.
Todd with 2Ds, thank
you. 2Ds, that is a 2D Todd. Anyways, 2D Todd. He pays in... Alright, that's gross. Anyways, but yeah, back to iPhones. Yeah. They do break a lot, but they're planning 3 new releases this year, and you know what that means?
Break a lot.
3 old models are gonna get kicked out. That's just kind of how they do it.
iPhone, I believe it's the iPhone 6 barely works now with the new iOS.
So that's definitely getting.
I know a lot of people who don't like They don't update.
Yep. For
Just
good
because-
reason. For good
and then
reason.
Then their phone updates one day and it's like the end of the world. They're like, oh my god, and then
Nothing works.
my thing is just like, well, why do you keep
Why'd you update? Like, where's
buying?
the question? Why can't you switch
No,
to
no, not only
Samsung?
that, like sometimes. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it, and it's an IMO thing. It's not a, it's not a just fact. It's
Here's
just,
the biggest shame.
if you have an issue with that, and you want to buy one phone and stick with that one phone, like if you wanted to buy an iPhone 6 and stick
Android
with that
Omega
forever
Law.
and you're good, then like
These phones don't break easy
maybe
of their own problems.
maybe that might not be the brand choice for you. Maybe you just like maybe it's an aesthetic thing. Maybe you just like that Apple logo. It looks really
Here's
good.
the sad thing. Apple truly
Put one of the
is
Samsung
a
phones.
very, very, very good. They have a very just fantastic operating system on their core models. And a lot of cases, it's better than the Android phones. I'll be the first to admit it. The problem is that they break them on their own, and that's what makes them bad. Because the streamlining, the efficiency of the programming, and everything else is better than Samsung a lot of the time. The problem is they make their own life expectancy so terrible that it stops working at that optimal level within a week of getting it. And that's what's so stupid about
Something else is definitely the fact that like it's another preface thing of like
Not to say that if you have an
behind all
Apple, by the
phones.
way, not to say that if you have an Apple, we think any less of you. It's just we don't see the
No.
personal draw to it, and that's where we have an issue. We just don't see
Again,
why.
like I said, it's an opinionated based thing.
Yeah.
It's not it's not fact. It can't be fact. It's opinion based. Both of the phones on paper and the specs and everything behind them and how they perform, they're incredible. Like they're actually just like superpowers.
Mm-hmm.
They're crazy. But it's just it's a personal thing. It's something that you might not know or want.
Yeah.
The final battle, Absolute versus Todd.
Might win.
But
I don't know.
It's
He's still flying
it's a
around
personal based thing, and something that those phones, the reason they're getting better and better and better is, well, because of is like they're trying to start moving into like, okay, well, we all know what 4G is on phones and everything like that.
Yeah.
Sure, that's the amount of bars, that's the
Are we
speed
finally
that your
talking about
phone
this?
goes on data and everything.
Finally talking about this?
Finally talking about this.
All right.
If you want
hit
to
them
put
up
the
that
link in
link.
chat, you can.
Where is
You
it?
can. I'm just gonna talk about it. It's under the text.
This
stuff.
was the last thing that was supposed to be in
Better
tech
flip
news.
phones.
Smile.
It was. I don't like you.
And yet here we are.
Yeah. So they're coming out with 5G though, which is supposed to be 10 times faster than 4G.
It's logarithmic.
Yeah, it's very, very fast. In other words, I believe the graphic we gave y'all guys, or the website we gave y'all, basically just tells you what all the 1G, 2G,
It's just a
3G, 4G,
description
5G means.
Or what the differences
Yeah,
are.
it just what are they? What does it mean? 1G, yeah, phones. 2G, hey, that's you
Start
can finally
passing out in the
do
shuttle.
messaging. 3G is like higher data. That's just data. Like that it means you can
Wi-Fi
on the
is going to be
internet with,
something
like,
from now.
decent speeds
I wouldn't
now.
go that far, Axinator. I wouldn't go that far.
Well, they're gonna with the upgrade to 5G, they're gonna be upgrading Wi-Fi as well, is what I believe. If they don't upgrade it, yeah, it's gonna be useless because companies like AT&T and Verizon are just going like they already provide internet. You can already buy like internet service through them and get 4G speeds. So now that they've got 5G speeds, they can literally just pump that out and say, "Hey, now our internet service is even better than these guys." You know?
Was there a moth behind you?
Me?
Yeah. Thought I just saw him flying across your room. I'm like, Todd, what you doing?
He teleported, dude.
I thought I saw one. Okay, I'm going crazy. Okay.
Yeah, you're nuts.
Nobody, at least this one's confirmed real. I saw it earlier
You
as
saw it
well.
earlier as well? Okay,
I'm
so
right,
we
there
both
is!
got-
Todd teleports! Alright, I definitely am not winning that fight now. He might own the room. He might own the room. Alright,
Oh,
sorry, Todd. My
I
bad.
flew in front of my cam. How did I not? It's okay. I'm fine with being blind.
Anyways,
whatever.
back to talking about 5G. Here's
But,
the limit.
like,
It's cool to talk about it. It's not. It's gonna be incredibly fast. It's gonna be incredibly just so fast. You're finally gonna get watch the HD videos on your phone. That's basically the highlight for me. Like that's basically it. I done goofed. He attacked me. I did. Until then. But honestly, the reason it's gonna, I think it's being fine overall, for honesty, for 5G versus Wi-Fi, because in the end, Wi-Fi is just, if it gets went on my keyboard. Oh, there it goes. Okay.
There it is.
But if it goes, Todd just flew building, you know, he's all seeing, make Todd go. All right, that was a copy pasta that didn't need to exist. But here it is. Wi-Fi is gonna be gone in 2 years. I think the current idea of Wi-Fi and the current running of that it's the most efficient connection will be, but actual Wi-Fi itself will still be around, because I live in Oklahoma, and I live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We get LTE. It's not quite 4G because it's nowhere near consistent as 4G, and it's much slower simply because of the surrounding areas. We just don't get access to it. For areas like mine, I believe Wi-Fi is going to stay a thing because they're still not going to have that reliable connection there. For some reason we don't have Google Fiber or anything else. We're still going to have that just because it's going to be, it's just more reliable to use Wi-Fi. And it's going to continue to be thanks to their surrounding companies and land masses. And because how things are barren and flat all around Oklahoma, it makes getting high connection points very difficult, doing all that sort of stuff very problematic. So it's going to be, Wi-Fi is going to be around for a little bit longer. 3 to 4 years though, I could definitely see it finally being phased off, but the next couple I don't think so. At least not for areas like mine. I think it'll still
be a thing. I just definitely think they're going to.
There's going to be a new name for it.
Upgrade the speeds.
There's definitely going to be a name for it.
There might be a new name. They might keep it as the same thing as well. They might call it a new thing, but honestly, like even if they start calling it something new, we're not going.
It's going to be Wi-Fi.
It's still just going to be Wi-Fi.
It's like when they tried to say, "Oh no, it's still a telephone." We're just like, grab the phone. It's going to be always. It's just.
These are the cellular devices that you can use to go onto the internet. No,
that's boring.
Grab my phone. Chuck me my phone, dude.
Never say that again. All right. All right, but from a tech side, 5G, getting to a point where we're finally in the realm of 5G, and just to create a good thing for this. So right now, I get like maybe 480 to 720p for my YouTube videos. I'd be able to now go to like 4K if I was on 5G without any sort of issue. And that's just it.
Literally with zero
none
issue.
issue. I would have to literally be like,
is from your phone side.
Yeah, it's actual processing. And the place to have 10G. You right, Cap.
Cap's right though. Yeah. Down here in
kind
the
of in that area.
We're gonna get that 5G.
But
everybody else is getting 10G.
5G is definitely a great triumph in terms of communication, because now signals are even harder to block. And it means a lot of people have a lot more dependability simply due to the amount. And that'll be very, very cool.
Once we get 5G and everything, like once it actually launches and it's there, it's going to be the question of like not how effective is it going to be, because it's going to be incredible. If you can get it, it's going to be awesome. But that whole if you can get it is where it comes into play, because like it's going to be coverage that's the issue. How are they going to coverage? Exactly. Coverage is also always the issue. So
it's a very cool thing to discuss, but in the end, it'll be limited by the same things that are limited to now. What areas have the resources in order to actually gain the signal technology? What companies are backing it to give it to your area? And what's actually going to provide support for it? Because right now, our phones can't even handle that much communication information because they weren't built to need to be able to understand it. There wasn't a necessity for a lot of phones. Mine personally might be fine just because it's one of the newer models. But when we talk about like maybe even the iPhone like 7 would have issues right now if we moved on.
I'm gonna put a link in chat real quick. This is a meme that Shepard made, or pseudo.
Oh, lovely! We're getting some new ones. Cool. Very cool.
Oh yeah. This isn't even of me, dude. I think it's pretty quality.
Oh wow! 1 second, I can't see it. Streamer guy. That's fair enough. I might lose. For being honest.
The thing with saying the hardware limits software, though, is the fact that we definitely have the hardware to hold the capacity of 5G. Honestly, we have the hardware to go even further. The problem of it is since we have the hardware to limit that software, we're using hardware and we're pricing it to a point to where it's going to, you know, we're pricing it to a point to where, like, if you are trying to get something that's going to run 5G and 4K plus, like, crazy well,
Qualities.
you might have some issues. Yeah. Like you're gonna have some issues because like money wise. And if
What
you
are you
can
gonna
do that,
handle it?
like if you can afford that, all right, cool.
And like I
But
have unlimited data. It's just nice to. It's a nice thing to have, honestly.
yeah, it is.
Playing a
It's
flat
very
rate
nice.
because you have to use your phone, so we're in a modern age, all that sort of spiel. We can talk about that at some other point, because it's a spiel everyone's going to have to heard. Is we live in a modern age. We need access to internet and such constantly because it's what our
Yeah.
jobs and our lives require. But having
There
5G and
was
having it limited by our accessibility to the technology is going to be another one of those price gaps of showing where people are at in terms of money. How does that differentiate living and all that? Like that's part of it. 8 megabytes per second over here. Oof, Hydroth. Oof.
yeah, that's rough. Yeah.
My face cam would.
Um
Huh?
yeah, my face cam would win the fight. I can't like all hail the mighty cam.
Yeah. It seems to be beating him pretty hard every once in a while.
That's fine. Well, it'll hopefully get better. Maybe I'll find a way to streamline it, you know.
But yeah, maybe we'll get that 5G. Who knows? Start using your phone device instead, Fluffy. All right, but I think
That's not a good idea for quality.
Yeah. So that's all we have to say about that. I mean, I've kind of gone through how 5G can really affect things. It's really just going to be the same but better, and there's no better way of saying it.
Okay.
That's
If we have time this stream, do you want to start going over a little bit over like HTC and Vive and what they're
we
doing?
can talk a little
for
bit
VR?
about that. We'll still go on at the end, but we're
Okay.
gonna go ahead and go to industry news because I want to talk
Okay.
about a game that's coming out. Why? Because I'm a huge nerd. That's why. So let's talk about Kingdom Hearts 3. Something that I've been waiting for a while. So, anyone who does not know, Kingdom Hearts series has some of the most complicated storytelling across too many games, in my opinion. But it's also one of the best series that's been running for quite a while. The pushback for this single release has been pushed back multiple years, and I guess I have to stop giving Atlas stuff for that if I'm praising Kingdom Hearts, but not gonna. And
Biased much?
oh, totally. It's my opinion. We have time 40 minutes earlier. We might not have enough time. We're bad at judging times, especially when the tech talk runs into each other. Because it's tech.
Yeah.
Everything's connected. But Kingdom Hearts 3 is a long coming... It's not sequel, it's... Is it still sequel? Because it's sequential in the order. I think that was it. Yes, it's still a sequel.
Yeah.
A long coming sequel that, if I can remember, it was officially introduced at E3 2013 and is set to be released on the 29th of this month. 5 years, people. 5 years. 5 years. And I'm still excited for it. Threequel. Yeah, that's a word.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude. Threequel.
Big brain.
We'll use it.
That's a big brain right there.
But yeah, it would be trilogy. Third in the trilogy.
Yeah, third in the trilogy. But
so, you know.
the primary reason for the long wait is due to the fact Square Enix switched up the game engine. Okay, can you explain game engines for anyone who might not know what that is?
Game engine's basically just what the game runs on. So, like I was talking about earlier, how NBA had swapped up the base core of the game. It's because their game engine actually changed. So, for a lot of you who will play games, I'll use Ark for an example because we were talking about it earlier. Ark ran on Unreal 4, I believe, right? I don't know if I'm wrong on that one. Abs, am I? Do you know on that one?
Sorry, I was reading chat.
I think Ark runs on
Ark.
Unreal 4 now, right?
I wouldn't know.
Okay.
Ark's not my game.
It runs on the Unreal Engine, which is part of Epic Games. That's their game engine they run.
Let's hope. A lot of good stuff coming out, hopefully.
Yeah, definitely. But so the thing about that is, Unreal, like when they first started developing the game and everything, it was running on Unreal 3. And it actually backed up, and they had accounted for it, which was really good. Now, granted, the game just technically officially released last year. Ark did. It was actually at E3 of last year.
Cap, what are you talking about? What?
How do you know if you're colorblind?
What are you talking about?
You can take tests. There's actually colorblind. Can you?
Oh no! Are you saying
test?
How do you know if you're? Oh, I thought you was talking about the engine topic. How do you know if it's different if you're colorblind?
Oh.
I'm like, I don't. Is that what you're
so
saying?
Confused about
Or
but no,
no, there's colorblind tests you can take online.
yeah.
I'm heavily colorblind. I can't even tell traffic lights.
Actually, same.
Yeah, it's rough.
But
Anyways, but
you can just tell which one's which one's lit. It's lit, dude.
let it, let dude get some dabs in
But
chat,
so
dude. Please.
the game engines though they'll change up and they change a lot of the
Ooh,
base
facts.
aspects of it and
Ooh.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So a game
so you
engine,
know,
if I'll
well,
explain it this way, the game engine is the core processing for the game. It decides everything from textures, physics, lighting, to even things such as communication and data awareness for the game. That can control audio cues, it can control sound
mhm.
interference, it can control the way you see a certain color in the game if it misloads a texture, it can decide how well physics will interact with each other, it will change everything. That is what the game engine does. It is essentially just like the engine of a car, is it decides what gets powered, what moves, all by what it can put out and manage.
Game engines are literally everything that the game runs on. It's the engine of the game.
Yeah.
There are other aspects that can like they can add something onto it and say, hey, yeah, this is also like helps the game's engine, or
Yeah.
this is the physics engine that works as well. Because you can put a physics engine in tangent with your game engine. Sometimes it doesn't work this way, I know. But a lot of the times what people can do is they basically have a separate engine or a separate set of commands
Stop it. Good job.
for physics.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, you know, games like Red Faction Guerrilla does this. Red Faction Guerrilla is a bit of an older game. I actually been playing it a little bit this week just because I got the remastered version and everything.
Yeah.
But it's completely destructible. Everything
Think
in the
of,
game is
if you need to
destructible,
think
and
about
it's
a game
wonderful.
that uses this physics to separate that might be more known, think Counter-Strike or Gary's mod, where you can, it allows
Yeah.
you to directly, if the game allows you to directly influence a physics, it usually has a separate physics in running in conjunction, there we go, in conjunction with the original engine processing things. But it
Yeah.
runs it as a separate program or a separate sort of moving piece, if that makes sense, so you guys can visualize it better. It's a separate moving piece.
Yeah.
It's linked together and they're working hand in hand in order for things to be processed correctly. But
That's what a game engine is, and that's why it would affect something so drastically as a push back a game release
for 5 years.
I don't know about if it should push it back.
Oh,
5
definitely
years.
should, but here we are.
No,
Thanks, Squeenix.
Okay. They actually talked about have they actually like given an official release date by now for the game?
Yeah, it is actually the 29th of this month. That's what I said.
We're not this month?
Yes.
Oh,
Yo ninkumbu.
I thought you said that. I'm sorry.
Bro, we've talked about this so many times. I literally
We've
told you
talked
the
about
day
this
the
a
news
couple
came
times,
out.
yeah.
So the day the news came out, I was like, dude, it comes out January 29th of this month. And he asked the same question then too. Oh yeah, when does it come out? And I'm like,
I'll quote Cap in chat. I forgot Fluffy
kidding?
had the memory of a goldfish.
yeah, pretty true.
I
Pretty
do.
fair.
Actually, it's that's a little
But
incorrect.
the entire
though.
reason we
I
actually the entire reason we have the talk show is that so we can actually remember things every once in a while. Makes you feel better.
No,
I'm
I
kidding.
have the memory of like half a goldfish though, not
Yeah.
really a full
Not a
goldfish.
full goldfish.
Goldfish
Not quite
beat
there.
me by like a couple
But
seconds.
why is okay? So why we're talking about this though? Because most games I would totally just rip apart for pushing back dates this much. But there's a soft spot more for my heart for Kingdom Hearts Atlas. But to be fair, it's not even finished in its release. So, ooh. But
I've already gone on that though.
But Kingdom Hearts 3 really is just such a fantastic game series, both from its originating point of being a sort of headliner, the Doctor Who poster, right? I like my poster. It's a very nice poster. It's filled with notes and written memories. I believe that. But
I don't have one.
I don't have one. Oh, I'm sorry. He has another poster back there. Can't tell what
Should
that
be.
is.
I do, yeah.
But
it's
anyways, the
I tell you, I'm gonna sound
what I was
like
talking
a
about.
massive nerd, dude.
Dude, it's too late for that. Look at our talk show. We're literally talking about
Look,
industry news of gaming. Being
Of
pushed back
video
over
gaming,
an
yeah.
unfinished one, to be honest. Right, Shepard? Right?
Yeah, like definitely. I'd rather them release a game that I'm going to be able to play and say, "Hey, this was worth my money."
Mm-hmm.
Instead of a game like Atlas where currently it gets pushed back
And
or it doesn't
unfinished.
get pushed back and it's unfinished and I'm just like,
Or both.
why did I spend my money on this?
And that's
Like,
what I'm saying
luckily,
about
if they
sorry,
finish
we're
the
not gonna
game,
listen.
if
We're not doing this.
they finish the game, then I will be able to look at it and say, yeah, that was worth it.
Yeah, that was
But that's
fun.
an if they even finish the game. What if they don't finish it?
Yeah.
Like,
Then you get
what am I to
Atlas,
do?
where things don't always work functionally, and they have done a lot of
It
releases since
just
the release
released
date.
those, so I mean, maybe
Here's the
we'll be
thing:
okay.
they have faced a lot of my issues with it, but they had the gall to release it unfinished the first time, and that's what annoyed me. But it's been a lot of things about it have been fixed recently. I know there's a lot of content patches that I've gone through and then have fixed a lot of the things that I'm talking about. But here's the thing, it was released unfinished. The reason I appreciate Kingdom Hearts setting back such a hard date is because they will finish it. This is a AAA company that has not failed to finish the games, although debatably after Final Fantasy 13 they haven't always been the best games, but they've finished things quite well for each of their releases, which gives me confidence for Kingdom Hearts 3. What are you pointing at?
I just get idea. One of my favorite games ever is Shadow of the Colossus, and it's like
great game.
predecessors. Not predecessors. The games coming after it.
Yeah.
And its predecessors actually. I loved that game. It's one of the first games I played as a kid. It was such a good game. And
oh, it was that game I used to play.
Hey, nice. But so it was such a good game. But like so was
nice.
The Last Guardian, which I think Last Guardian came out last year, right? Was it last year or the year before?
It was the year before. I'll look that up real quick while you're talking.
Was it a 2017 game? Okay.
Guardian.
So both of those games are absolutely incredible. The
it was
first one,
2016.
I actually tried to go back.
It was December of 2016 though, so you can.
2016.
Yeah,
Damn.
it was a while ago.
That's crazy.
30 years ago. Didn't even make it to playoffs.
But so this is my thing, is when it comes to those games and everything, like it's just they hold a special place in my heart. But at the same time, like Shadow of the Colossus, I tried to go back and play the PS2 one last week, I believe, and no.
Anyone who didn't make it, by the way, rip.
Yeah, honestly, they might get it next year. They also might not.
Man, that's a blanket statement if I've ever heard one. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Here's my favorite thing about Kingdom Hearts series. It's one of the bigger draws of when we go into games, there is this thing that we call, and this is true in shows, movies, acting, everything else. It's this suspense of disbelief that we keep for ourselves, and it's what we give the games so that we can believe what's happening in them and make it both relatable and personal to us. Think when we go to a theater, right? We go to see a play, or if we go to see a movie. Let's say a movie. Not many people go to plays anymore. I go to plays, so that's something different. When we go to a movie, we watch plays, though, so yeah, that's pretty much it. When we go into a movie, like let's say Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I love that movie, by the way. Think about the movie. It was such a bomb movie, man. Anyway, sorry. Something else. Actually incredible. But going through to it, we would see things in the movie, and we'd see Miles Morales getting his powers. Because, that's no spoilers. That's what I'm saying. Using this as an example, that's not a spoiler.
What the movie's about.
It's literally who Miles Morales is Spider-Man. If you didn't know that, then what are you doing? But we go to see he gets the spider powers, but we don't go, that's not how spiders or superpowers work. We just say, hey, that was freaking sweet. I'ma just go ahead and believe that worked. Why? Because we want it to. We want to see things happen. So when we go into games with similar mindsets, such as Shadow of the Colossus, during their times, it was easier for us to give that to them. The graphics and everything else to us looked more believable then because they were new. They were more believable because we hadn't seen anything better done. You are looking like Martin. Are you his lookalike? I don't know who that is. Fluffy, can you send me something about him? But anyways, we're gonna go on to the thinking. But we give that to them, and we give it so easily because in the end, we believe it. Like we do at that moment because there's nothing better. But when we look back at them and we have things like the new Unreal Engine, Call of Duty, super graphic, super realistic, it's harder for us to give that to them because now we have something better to set it against, something in a similar grounding for us to say it's not as good. And that's what makes it so sad looking back at those games. And it's why, one of the few reasons I'm okay with remastering and re-releases, because you'd think, oh, Absolute doesn't like publishers redoing these things or anything else. That's not right. I don't like them doing it for cash grabs. But when they're truly enriching the experience, look at the Kingdom Hearts 1.5 and 2.5 releases, where they're improving their experience by making things clearer and giving us more reason by making things look more realistic to give us a better grounding in this, we find a better experience. We find a good game to play again. And we can give them our suspense of disbelief once again and let them take us on a journey again. And that's why it's so great for these re-releases. Now, when we go back to Shadow of the Colossus now, we can see, oh, the graphics weren't as good. It wasn't, it's PS2. It doesn't look right. It's PS2. And we have that in our heads whether we want to or not. Now, if we put that against I think last year's release of Shadow of the Colossus. Was it last year's? Or was it? Yeah, last year's release.
The remastered version. Yeah.
Yeah, last year's announcement. If you went to play that instead of the PS2 version, I am sure you'd have a much better time because it's so much better looking and it looks so much closer to what we have today that we could believe it easier.
It goes to what we were saying with in game engines. They're gone to completely different game engines now. Which is the thing, like when we go back to play Shadow of the Colossus.
Didn't that development
PS2
take like
version,
a year and a half for that remaster? Or something around those lines?
Yeah,
because they had to move everything.
Much longer.
Okay.
It took like a long time, dude. It took like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
But so
that's what moving an engine can do, by the way.
Yeah. But so the big thing about like the PS2 version is the controls were so wonky when I went back and tried to play it. Like there's so many differences that you don't notice. Like I think of that game and I still think of nothing but great things. I still think about the fact of like that's such a wonderful game. God, I loved it as a kid. I remember playing that game and I was just like, this is the best thing ever.
This is it.
This is it, Chief. But
why you gotta do that?
Now, like playing it, I'm just kind of like,
oh, that was cool.
It was. I still get it. I get why I liked it.
It was fun.
But at the same time, I'm just like,
hydrated.
Why? Why is it doing?
What were we doing? What were we doing this? But that was part of the fun, is that when we see things in a more realistic sense, we allow things to seem real to us. And that's where the beauty of gaming really comes in, is that we get to live these stories, no longer playing through them, but living through them instead, for a lot of us who don't always get to do the biggest things. That's just, it's the beauty of gaming. So when we have things like Kingdom Hearts 3 coming out, and it's why I'm so excited for it, we get that, a revival of an old series, and it is now past the 5-year mark, so it is a revival of an old series, now completely redone, and we get to further the story, further the experience. We get to live through it even farther, and that's what's so amazing about it. And that's what I'm so excited for, is reliving that experience of getting to sit and play and look and watch these games and just not relive anymore, but live something new that'll be probably, or if not even more so, better. Yeah. And that's why I'm truly excited about.
I will say though about the Shadow of the Colossus, the remastered one, it is better. I mean, it looks better. The graphics are much better. The game engine is better as well.
The controls also are retweaked, aren't they?
The controls are so much better.
Yeah.
The controls are so much better. It's such a good game, and I still love it no matter what. The Last Guardian has that same feel of the controls are better, because The Last Guardian and the remastered version of Shadow of the Colossus are on the same game engine. They actually have like the same graphics as well, except for The Last Guardian. I will praise it till the Earth's end.
Cows come home.
On the fact that, until cows come home as well.
Move over to movie topic. I mean, we can talk about movies. We have a little bit of time.
We can talk about movies, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna bring up.
That's actually something we'll bring into next week. We'll bring into a movies topic.
Well, we can start right now. Have you watched Into the Spider-Verse? Please tell me you have.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So no spoilers. Yes. We're not gonna spoil any movies and talk about them. But I'm gonna go ahead and bring about this. There's not an article or anything, because if you haven't seen it, don't worry. We're just gonna go through a brief little summary of what it was. Go see it now. If you need me to convince you to go see it, listen to the album. Oh my lord, the album is so
because
good.
They got. I remember before the movie even like released and everything on Spotify.
You know what? Never mind. I do have a link. I do have a link.
And I'm just like, oh my god, it's so good.
I lied. I have a link. I do have a link.
Oh, but that movie's so good, Coffee. Like, it is actually phenomenal.
Here's the thing. So the thing. Okay. Here's the preface I always give comic book movies, and this is honestly an excuse. I give this excuse to every comic book movie I watch. I enjoyed it because it felt like a comic book, because I am a massive nerd. Who knew? Look where I am. Look at my poster. Isn't it so nerdy?
Look
But
at his
when
bed.
I look at my bed,
Other- I mean, hey, like I said earlier,
but here's
guess
the
we
thing
can
about
be
Into the
like,
Spider-Verse. I didn't have to give it that excuse because it didn't feel like a comic book. It felt like a movie that had a comic book character in it. I give that, but it was its own thing. It cited a lot of the resources it had from comic books and a lot of things that we see expressed in the style of comic books. But in itself, it simply cited it as an artistic review or a nod, much like an allusion to a famous tale in a larger story. It
mm-hmm.
nodded to it, but it remained its own unique movie beyond the limits that those comic books set for those. And where the entrapments we find in movies about comic books is the fact that they inevitably must feel like a comic book in order to be about these superheroes for our definition of a movie about those superheroes. But it took that mold, it broke it, smashed it against the floor, and became its own movie, its own tale. And that's why it was so great. Because it wasn't a comic book movie. It was a movie about Miles Morales, one of my favorite Spider-Men, and about a true tale of overcoming a lot of tragedies and internal family damages. And
So
it was
something I want to
just...
say. So like you like Miles Morales a lot and
I
everything,
do.
but I want to talk about a little bit Spider-Man: Homecoming. It's a little older at
Oh,
this
it's
point.
also a good
It's
one.
not an old movie,
It
but
had a
like
lot
it's a
more
little bit
entrapments
ago.
about the comic book
Um,
style of storytelling, but at the same time, it also had its own
you
respects.
remember in part of the movie, they said like he webbed somebody's hands to the back of a car. No spoil. This isn't a spoiler, by the way. Remember he
No,
webbed
we are
somebody's hands to the
Kappa
back of a car.
X. Oof.
Um,
Yeah.
so you remember who that guy said he was, right?
Wait, repeat your last sentence. My brain just
When
completely threw things
in
out.
Homecoming, whenever he webbed some, like he put on the deep voice thing and da 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 and all
Yeah,
that,
you're really
and he
not good
webbed
at it.
somebody's.
You're pretty new at this, aren't you? Like, I'm
Yeah,
trying,
exactly.
man.
He webbed that guy's hands to
Pizza
the back of the
time. Oh, I
car,
want some
right?
pizza. Yeah, I want
So
pizza,
you
Cap.
remember what that guy's name was, right?
No.
Okay, so
Wait,
I
was
was hoping
that?
you remember what. I
Wait, was that
remember.
his?
I
Was
would,
that his?
his uncle.
We're not. No, you're not supposed to
That
say
was
that's a movie thing. You idiot.
no. It's not part of that movie though. This is part of like the live action version,
I know,
the
but
one that
the
Miles
fact that we
Morales is
know,
not in.
the fact that we know that he did that to him is a
It
nod
was
to
an Easter egg. It's Easter egg.
Okay,
It's just Easter egg in a movie. It's not.
we're
A
gonna talk
spoiler,
about
unless you
spoilers.
spoil it. But so that was his uncle, and that was
Yeah,
their like nod to the fact that hey, maybe Miles
maybe this
Morales
is
will
a
happen.
thing.
Yeah, and now we know that Miles Morales is a thing. We know that it's in the
Yeah. One of
it's
the things,
not
by the way,
officially in
we might not do
the
a movie
Marvel
time every
Cinematic
week
Universe.
simply because I don't get to go out to see movies very often. I know Fluffy doesn't get to go out and see movies very often either, so a lot of the news wouldn't work out. We'll definitely bring up big things like this. Didn't
You
you
know what,
say you
Cap?
get
I
me
think
beats
it was
never
actually
did?
me. So like, I got you. I got you.
Eventually, he'll have the Dominoes that can't even deliver to his house. Spoiler time as header.
No,
We're
Domino's
not
delivered to
spoiling
the house,
anything.
dude.
We didn't spoil anything. I got Fluffy to shut up
No,
for
no, no.
time.
I wasn't gonna say.
I
The
don't
spoiler part
believe
anyways.
you. I don't
You don't
believe
have to.
you.
You don't have to believe me.
But we're not gonna spoil anything, and that's one of the big things. But yeah, Into the Spider-Verse. If you don't like comic book movies, watch it anyways. It's not a comic book movie. It's a fantastic movie about a fantastic character
It is a
that
comic
just
book
happens
movie, but it's a
to
damn good
cite
one.
the comic books quite often.
It's
But
very,
it breaks
very
away
good.
from the storytelling of the comic books, which is what I liked.
This is 100% something I'd recommend watching.
Now, if we are going to talk
Um,
about comic book movies, who watched Aqualobo? Excuse me, Aquaman. Did you watch Aquaman?
Yeah, I did.
Do you know who Lobo is? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Mm-mm.
Lobo is basically a spirit of violence and such that looks exactly like the actor, only his hair is dyed black and his skin is like deathly white, and he looked a lot like the actor they had for Aquaman, who I'm currently blanking on the name on. And you guys
See,
just
Cap,
like
I
watch
don't have
movies
to
like
call
Silence
them.
of
I
the
just
Lambs.
ordered online.
We watched that
I
for
mean,
classes and read it for classes, and then we never want to see those again. Just IMO.
I kind of think Aquaman was an alright movie.
I liked it. It was
Jason
enjoyable
Momoa
as a
was
comic
damn
movie.
good actor.
Jason
And
Samoa,
he's-
hottest man of the year, I think it
Momoa.
was. Momoa.
Yeah. No. The Rock won Hottest Man of the Year again.
How?
What do you mean? How? Have
How?
you seen the man?
Have you seen Jason Momoa?
Look, this is not a topic we'll get into on
Alright.
stream.
But that was a movie that I definitely had to give the excuse. This feels like a comic book movie, so if you don't like comic movies, don't watch that too much.
Speaking of stream, it's 8:02.
Yeah.
8:03.
We're gonna go ahead and end it off soon. Alright, that's all the time we have for this week, everybody. Thank you very much for coming out, chat, being around. We really do appreciate everyone who comes out and watches them. We do hope we were able to inform with the pit.
Yes. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, that kind of thing, something you'd like to see on the info pit for next week, get a hold of myself or Absolute, either on the forums on DI or
don't send us links.
Honestly,
we won't click your links. We'll
don't send us links.
Tell us stories
but,
or tell us a story that's happened.
Give us recommendations, that kind of thing. I do like the idea of having a movie section. I like that a lot personally. I think that's something we can talk about. I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that a lot. Coffee, message me on the forums. Tell me what kind of movies you want us to talk about.
We're talking about,
I want to try to make sure that we get. I want to make sure we get a good idea of things.
Yeah.
Like I want to make sure we get a good range. We're not
like
just
FBD
talking about the movies that we watch.
Maybe having some soft music in the background. There, we have to be careful that kind of stuff because we can copyright and stuff like that, and that's not good for DI. So we'll look into doing that, but it may not be happen this week. But we'll definitely look into that.
Yes, and we will be airing every week on Sundays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All the way
we'll
probably
be
to 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Well. 8. Yep.
Might go a few weeks over simply because DI doesn't have anything right now. At least it's scheduled over us, so we have a little more. We can go a few minutes over like we did today, simply because there's no one scheduled after us. So we're kind of like the capper into the whole run.
Next week as well, look forward to the fact that we're going to be including you guys a lot more in stream. There's going to be a lot more things where we ask you, what do you think? And you're going to be able to give us our input. So whenever we were talking about a lot of things, we would read chat and see your input. But we're going to be getting links, that kind of stuff.
There's going to be a very structured ways for you guys to give your opinions.
Yes, it's still going to be a laid-back style of, we're just sitting here chatting, talking about things. But we're also going to be talking about...
Absolute yells about one of his favorite topics because he does that.
It's still gonna... It's Todd's still going to rule the room.
Probably.
Honestly.
He was flying around earlier. I don't know where he is. And honestly, I think that scares me more.
We might even have a meme section. But it's... So, Morning Tea already has that. Morning Tea is every Saturday. So we're not going to have like a Morning Tea meme section or anything
like that. But if you have memes about the show, we might just show them up.
If you have memes about the show, if we like the meme enough, go ahead, shoot it. Like, send it our way.
I'll go ahead and display it. We'll do a content capture and everything just for it. But that will be it for everybody. So thank you very much for everyone showing up. Just like we said before, we do appreciate it. We are on the times listed. Say that again.
6 p.m. Eastern Standard starting, and we'll be ending at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard every week, or every Sunday.
We do hope we informed you just a little bit and we're able to entertain you throughout, even if we didn't. And we want to thank you very much for showing up. Anyone showing up and saying they enjoy this helps us a lot for being able to continue to do this, and we really do like doing this for you guys if we can. So,
yes.
That all being said, my name is Fluffy. My name is Fluffy. Wow.
My name is Fluffy.
My name is Absolute, and we just had a slight video editor there with Discord, and we'll see you all next week. So bye. Peace.
Goodbye.